Greetings and welcome to Design Duo, Supercharging Authentic Learning Through Human AI Collaboration. My name is Chris Zirkle, and that is a mouthful of a title. Basically, we're going to be collaborating with AI to create authentic learning experiences and activities for our students. The bit.ly at the bottom, you want to grab that. You are going to need the slide deck. There are links in there and resources you will need. Session is going to be a little bit different because we're not in person. You're watching a video. So the directions for this opening activity, where you're going to create an image of yourself, or you would create an image of someone else in the room. You can look in the room you're in now and pick somebody in that room, or you can pick yourself, but you want to be descriptive. You want to use Canva, Adobe Firefly, or Ideogram to generate an image of someone else or yourself. If you don't have Canva or Adobe Firefly, honestly, the easiest thing to use is Ideogram. Everything is linked there. Just scroll over to the icon here and click on the link. And this is what it'll look like after you log in. Just choose log in with Google. You don't have to remember a password or anything. You'll be in. This is the area where we write the prompt, right up in here. And if you look to the right, we can see that magic prompt, you can have auto, where it assists you in the prompt that you're writing. Let's just go with off for now, so we just know it's your prompt is what's generating what you're going to see. I would prefer myself, I like 16:9 for the size of the slide that I'm using. You can choose 9:16 or 1:1, and you can keep it private if you want, or I have mine on public. So once you understand your settings on the right, you go ahead and start typing. You don't have to assume that they can read your mind. It's not going to happen. You have to be specific. You have to describe as best you can what you want the AI generator to create. So go ahead and type in your prompt now and then hit generate and see what you come up with. When you are done, just go back to the slide deck. Okay, you've created an image of somebody else or yourself. Hopefully you had some fun doing that. And you can actually delete one of the images here. If you want to pop it in the slide deck, you're welcome to. Either way, these are images I've created of myself. Both are different from one another. I'd say the bottom one is probably more true of myself than the top one. That's all I'll say. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the session. My name is Chris Zirkle. I've worked for the Wake County Public System for over 20 years. I have my master's in instructional design and technology, and I've been a digital learning coordinator for the past 5 or 6 years. My partner and I, we are assigned 27 schools that are K-12. We support them with all their tech integration needs. Also develop a lot of content for our district. Produce the podcast for the district, videos, photos, blogs, screencast videos, and then, of course, managing all that content and making sure it's getting sent out to our audience on a consistent basis. And then AI training. I'm also on the team that's developing the training for our staff and students for the district. If you want to contact me either through text or if you want to chat in some format, just go ahead and contact me at my email. And what we want to do, part of a authentic learning experience that or activity that you're going through with your students, you want to tell your audience what's going to happen. What are the goals? That sets us up for success. We all know what's about to happen and what we should be able to do by the end of the session, right? So here are the goals. It's very basic and very easy. You collaborate with other educators. If you're watching this video, that may not happen with you at the moment, but what you're learning, you can take to the group of members, we call them PLCs in our district, that you collaborate with. And AI is just going to be another partner in your collaboration. It's not as though AI just does everything for you. It's another voice. It's another perspective. It's another resource. It's a subject matter expert that you invite into your PLC. And then design model, we are going to choose one design model and we're going to use that to develop the activity, right? So let's get into this session for a second. The title and its description, you may still not know exactly what's going to happen, right? Basically, we're going to craft learning experiences that captivate our students and prepare them for the 21st century. It's not going to just be mundane lessons that aren't beneficial or boring. We're looking to have engaging experiences that are productive, right? That help our students with deeper learning, which we'll talk about in a second. So whether you have lessons you already use that you want to revamp, whether you're starting from scratch, but we can take whatever lesson curriculum you have and we can help it really kind of be relevant to our students. And we're going to incorporate technology into it. And it's really going to help our students learn something that's going to connect to hopefully career paths that they choose further down the road, right? That's going to be that much of an impact for them, right? So let's look at where are we getting this authentic learning activity from, right? Well, 2.5B ISTE standard, design authentic learning activities. Let's take a deeper dive into that, right? Here you can see there are some things that are evident, right? It's going to give you value beyond the classroom. If you're just teaching to the test or teaching to whatever it is that students are just going to kind of regurgitate and go through and not remember anything, we want to bring value beyond the classroom. We want this to apply to real world problems. We want it to be workforce related. Everything you're experiencing today is going to help you in your job. Right, so you are definitely going to experience an authentic learning activity. We want our students to have that same kind of feeling. We want skills to be built, right? And we also want to promote critical thinking, right? We want to wrestle with intellectual problems. So we're going to design authentic learning activities today that are going to align to content area and standards. We're going to pull in the ISTE standard, which we're using all together, overarching. We're going to use digital tools and technology, and we want to really maximize active, deep learning. That's our ultimate goal for today. Now, there's a lot of design models. I arbitrarily chose a design model. Gagne's 9 events of instruction is what we're going to use. You may have heard of the 5E model. You may have heard of design thinking. So we're not saying one is better than the other. We're just using a structure, a framework, so that way your PLC can just follow step-by-steps in developing what you're going to do. Plus, I thought maybe you haven't heard of Gagne's 9 events of instruction. Maybe it's not as popular, but I wanted to pull it in. And this session is using this framework for the activity you're experiencing today. In other words, I've already tried to gain your attention, and right now we're on steps 2 and 3. I'm informing you of the objectives, and now we're getting into stimulating the recall of prior learning, right? So you probably remember some training you've had where you have used a design model of some sort to create your lessons. How are you designing your lessons? What are you doing, right? And then the next thing you can see I'm about to do for you is present the content, and then we'll go through the rest of the stages. So not only are you creating one, but you're also experiencing one yourself as you go through this session, if that makes sense. So here's the steps for today. First, we're going to get you together as a PLC, and you're going to select your roles. Then you're going to identify the learning goals, the lesson plan you're going to use. We're going to use Gagne's 9 events as our framework, and then we're going to collaborate with AI and your PLC. After you develop your experience, then you're going to share it with others, and then we'll do a little bit of reflection. And feedback. So your PLCs, let me kind of tee this up for you, and then I'll demonstrate what you're going to do. If we're in person, the goal was to work in groups of 3. So if you're watching this video and you're by yourself, just take on the role of each person, or imagine the staff members you work with, and then do this with your staff members. Bring this back to your staff members and try it. I guarantee this is going to be beneficial for you, right? So let's get into each one of these. The curriculum specialist in our session, it was the person that selected the actual lesson plan we're going to work with, right? I have a link here to provide a lesson plan. If we go back a couple slides, this is the one I'm using in the demonstration. You can use that. You want a PDF format, or select curriculum you're actually using. Then you want to have Gagne's 9 events, which you can open up, but the AI is going to know what they are, but they're there for your reference. And then we're going to also help with collaboration. That's the curriculum specialist. The AI technician is going to be the one that's going to be interacting with the AI. So they're going to want to go ahead. I'm using Poe. You can use Claude. You can use Magic School. Because the 3 of those allow you for you to attach a PDF, which is what we want, right? That's the main goal. So if you are using something and it allows you to attach a PDF, use that. If you don't, go ahead and just stick with Poe for now to get started with, right? They're going to upload these 9 events. So you need the 9 events, but your AI is going to know the 9 events. So you really may not have to upload that, but that's there in case you want to upload that. And then we're going to also participate in the collaboration. We're all going to participate in collaborating with each other. And the design expert, they're basically the note taker. They're going to open up the slide deck they're in, and there's slides in here where they're going to be actually inserting the content that you decide to work with today. You'll see what the slides look like in a minute. And of course, they're also going to help with the collaborating of everything. Here are the steps. Again, just as a reminder, you're going to get together as a PLC, identify your lesson plan, your goals, use the 9 events, and collaborate with AI, right? So you want to look over those 9 events just so you're familiar with them. So this is how the actual collaborating with AI works. These are the steps. This is in text format. I'll go over that real quickly, and then I'm going to actually show you. I'm going to hop out and show you exactly how to do everything that's right here. First thing is you got to select an AI. I'll use Poe. I'm a big fan of ChatGPT. I have the paid version. I have all that. But I want to use something free that everyone can use. So I'll be modeling with Poe today what to use. I'm going to tell the AI chatbot exactly what I'm doing. That I'm creating an authentic learning experience activity for my students. And I'll tell them my age group audience and that we're using Gagne's design model, that we want to incorporate technology in the 4 C's. We're going to tell it all of that, right? We're going to build the context. And then we're going to upload our unit of study and Gagne's 9 events if necessary. And then once we get to that stage, then we're going to collaborate with the PLC and AI as we develop the experience. And let me go ahead and model what that looks like for you. Okay, when you log into Poe, if that's what you're using, it should look similar to this. I am in dark mode. Yours may not be in dark mode. You're going to see a lot of other bots. It's going to be kind of confusing at first. Just focus on the center of the page. Get your first conversation going. It saves your conversation. You can go back and forth to them later, your chats, right? But let's go ahead and just look at this in the middle. And on the right here, there's the plus where you're going to attach your PDF. I'm going to use the microphone to tell Poe what I want it to generate what I'm looking for. So let me go ahead and do that now. I teach 7th grade language arts for the Wake County Public School System in North Carolina. I'm using the ISTE standard 2.5b to develop an authentic learning activity for my students. I am using an existing lesson plan, and I want to use Gagne's 9 events of instruction to improve the current lesson plan. I want to incorporate technology and the 4 C's to make this lesson memorable for my students and to promote authentic deep learning. So when you want a period, just pause, put the period, and then continue with the microphone. That's what I've learned from that experience. I'm going to go ahead and select my lesson plan. I have it right here, and I'll open it. And let me generate that, and that'll give us our start. So give that a moment. And what it's done is it knows the lesson is about the fight with Covey from Frederick Douglass's narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, one of my favorite text to read and to teach. And I really want my students to really grasp, the reality of this fight. And so what it's done is it knows the lesson because I gave it the lesson. It knows I'm using Gagne's 9 events. It knows I want it to be an authentic learning activity for students as defined by ISTE. And it's giving me each step. It's going to go ahead and give me the steps, right? So here's what I want. These are the 9 steps it's provided for me. And what we want to do is now collaborate as a PLC to go through each of these steps, but not just take what the AI bot gave us, but say, well, here's a starting point. Now let's discuss it and tweak it and make it our own, right? So for example, it says that we need to gain our audience's attention is step one, number one. That's why I had you, create the image using AI just to get your attention here. And here it's recommending that we show a video clip or a PowerPoint, right? So I'm going to copy this. And with the first step, I'm going to say, I'm going to paste that in and say, can you provide a video clip? Let's see if it can provide a video clip. And fortunately, it doesn't have access to it. It tells us where we can go. And let me see, how about a link? So it's telling me to do some more digging, like YouTube, Discovery Ed, to find those films. So that would be something that you and your PLC would have to discuss and locate and find and build out, right? So on your end, what you're doing is as you're collaborating, we have our slides here. If we go to our very first slide, here's Gagne's first event, gaining attention. And it tells you the purpose for that event. It tells you some of the methods you can use. And then here is what your PLC finally decided after collaborating with AI. So for example, here, if we go back to what the AI told us here, which was this just for the first one, by showing a short film of the fight with Kobe, right? That may pique their interest. Well, I could take this here, and I can say that this is kind of what we started with. This is what the AI provided, but then as a PLC, what would you do with that? What clip would you use, or a slideshow, or do you have some other idea besides a video? This is where, again, AI is just another person in the collaboration. It's not the end all be all to everything, right? And then as a PLC, then you would discuss event number 1, right? Then you would progress to number 2. Well, number 2 is informing learners of the objectives. If we go back to Poe, we can see here that it says the objective is ISTE standard 2.5b. That's not the standard. That's actually what we would call an inaccuracy, not quite a hallucination. But we'd say down here, I'm going to actually call AI out. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to come down to the bottom and say, this is not the standard for students. Look for standards in the PDF. And then I'm going to reattach the PDF. I don't have to, it's already there. But I just want to really emphasize that, hey, the standards are in here, and let's go with that. And then now that I've redirected it, it's now stating that the main objective for this lesson for students, determining meaning of words and phrases, identify use of storytelling techniques, identifying and correct sentence fragments and run-on sentences, right? So those are the objectives for this particular lesson. And then I would say that's what I would use for our step 2. So what I just did was I modeled to you how to collaborate with AI using a Poe chatbot, the ISTR standard, your lesson plan in PDF format, and of course your other team members that you're collaborating with. So if you're watching this video, what I want you to do is take what you've learned, what I've showed you, and work and collaborate with some other of your associates, teammates, members, fellow teachers, and just follow these steps. Get together, identify the lesson plan, the goals you want to work with. Make sure everyone's familiar with Gagne's 9 events. You can choose a different model if you want. You don't have to use the 9 events. You can use the 5 E's. You can use design thinking, whatever you want. It's kind of arbitrary, but you want to have that there so the AI knows which structure you're using, and then begin your collaboration with AI and your PLC. If you were in the session together, we would have a time for us to share with each other and give some reflection time and feedback. So that is the gist of our session. It's different because it's obviously a video format. If you do have any comments, questions, anything like that, feel free to contact me. Be happy to answer your questions and to talk with you. Thank you.